So Gabby had missed about 4 days of school with influenza. So I said, well, come in the kitchen. Maybe that'll kind of cheer you up. And she walked through that kitchen doorway and she collapsed. I took her into the ER. We're like waiting and getting antsy. And a doctor finally comes in and says, I'm sorry it took so long. I was on the phone with the university getting a helicopter in the air and getting her prepped for surgery. She had severe hydrocephalus, obliterating the third ventricle, and a mass about the size of an egg in the center of her brain. And so they did what's called a ventriculostomy. Because the pressure in her head was so high, they have to be able to drain that cerebral spinal fluid and then get the pressures back down to an acceptable level. 2 days later, she had a 7-hour burr hole resection. So they basically drill a little hole in here and they go in and debulk the tumor. So we couldn't get all the tumor because of where it's at. And so she would have to do chemo. Once they took the pressure down, we were doing the chemo. Now the cystic portion basically expanded quite a bit. She had hydrocephalus again. When the neurosurgeon spends 2 hours reviewing your child's case before they meet with you, yeah, it's complicated. We knew this tumor was relentless, so we talked about some chemo options. We didn't want to do radiation. There was a surgical option. And then we were still looking at this drug called Day 101, which was a brand new drug in phase 2 drug trials, which we had looked at earlier on, but it was in phase 1, and we weren't really in a position where we could choose to use that drug. Gabby became the first patient at the University of Iowa to take the Day 101 drug. We saw significant shrinkage after the first 3 months or so on the drug. The last scan we just did, the oncologist notes say the tumor is still there, but for all intents and purposes, this tumor, it's almost completely gone. And this hospital has been on the cutting edge, and it continues to be so, not just because of the doctors and nurses, but because of families like ours who say, hey, wait a minute, we want something better. And they step in and they help on their end. They kept pushing and kept trying, and we finally were able to make it happen. Gabby has severe memory problems from the surgeries that saved her life. I think the memories are still there. They're just, we blew up the bridge to get to them. And so we're trying to rebuild that piece by piece. I will tell you about something that I like to call hope. When your child is in the PICU and the social worker comes in and says, your child has a scholarship to the University of Iowa paid for by Dance Marathon, a 10-year-old kid in the PICU that just had brain surgery. And that's a huge sense of hope and a huge motivation. Okay, we got an end goal. We can get there.
She wants to be a writer. So right now in her free time, she'll sit down and write these little 1 or 2 page mysteries.
Do you know the story of Alice in Wonderland? It's basically my little twist on that. So the Mad Hatter comes back with Alice to the real world. The minds get a little mixed together. One can remember everything, but the other can't remember a thing.
She wants to be a mystery writer, and I'm really hoping that that's what she'll be able to do.
I know families that come from the other side of the state, from other parts of the country, to be here to get those drugs, to get those treatments. This is a phenomenal place for adult and pediatric. It's amazing what we have right here at home. One of the nurses had come in and said, do you watch a TV show, The Vikings? Gabby looks like one of the Shield Maidens, because the Shield Maidens shave their heads except for one little section and it's braided. Because of the 2 ventriculostomies and the brain surgery and then the shunt surgery, she literally had one section of hair left in the back. The Shield Maidens are Viking warriors that fight through anything that's in front of them. And the name stuck. She is our Shield Maiden. You put on your armor and you push forward to whatever's in front of you and you keep going.